Alrighty, how are we doing today on this lovely Sunday? Did you know Sunday is named after the sun? For real though? It is? Okay. We're here to play some more Overwatch. And I was playing a little bit yesterday, and well, what's the notification? Okay, thank you. Get this. I hit Masters again. It was a lot easier than I was expecting. Oh, honestly, I came back for this new season. I was actually expecting to be like stuck in like platinum again or something. But we got placed like diamond 4 or diamond 3 or something. And we just kind of made it up to masters pretty easily, I would say. Um, so I don't know if we're gonna stay in it. Maybe I'm just gonna go on like a massive losing streak or something. Maybe we'll stay around this area. Maybe we'll climb some more. I don't know. But, I want to keep playing and get better. So let's go ahead and get rocking. Oh, wait. You know what? No. Let's play a Mystery Heroes first. Do a little warm up. Just do, my routine so I can be, I don't know. It's good to continue routine. You don't want to be feeling weird.
Vote for a map.
I guess Colosseo.
Arriving at
I understand the path that Caesar took, but more than that, I understand his fall.
What the fuck? Caesar? Why is Hanzo talking about Caesar? Julius Caesar.
5, 4,
This is a weird ass skin. Oh, I forgot that Orisa doesn't have a reload.
locks in 30 seconds.
Our task begins. Scanning. Barrier initialized. Sniper.
I did not realize I was that low HP. Okay. Do we have healers? We had an Ana. I guess she just was shooting someone else.
I'm the last one you'll ever cross.
Exerting force on the barricade.
Stand ready for vendetta! Need to get that robot back! My boy.
Willpower burns within me.
I am the queen!
Burn her and you'll serve.
She's gonna blow! Have a nice day.
Ashe versus Widowmaker. Who wins? Wait, where even is she? I get fire points for that.
Took my robot, did they? Bad move.
Took my robot, did they?
Ha! Don't worry, I'll be right behind you.
Now we're on to Bercy.
Stop them from pushing the barricade.
Alright, we need you to hit your shots, alright? This is peak Mercy gameplay right here. He's not hitting anything.
They took the lead. We have work to do. Let me see what I can do. I'll show you what I can do. Supplying damage increase. Stop their barricade. They're attacking me. Nice. Keep it coming. Let's go. They're pushing the barricade. Oh, sure, that doesn't stop. Cats can belong in this pack. Come on.
Okay.
Stop the robot. Nice to know you have my back. Enemy turret ahead. Enemy turret down. Stay near my pylon. This might hurt more than
We have 3 support characters, Hanzo and Anran.
Robot has been taken.
let the Kitsune guide you. Face the sunrise. Heroes never die. My duty is being
Oh.
done.
You good?
Enemy turret ahead. Watch it.
Enemy here.
You'll be fine.
Launched into Dragon Trap.
I'm here to support. Excellent.
Dragon consume you.
Who needs a wall climb when you can Guardian Angel plus left control? Technically, I don't know if you can do it with right control as well.
Enhancing your strength. That'll help you fall. They're ganking our robot. I'll make sure that doesn't stop. Time for the reckoning. Down 10.
Light weaver here.
Enemy turret ahead.
Damage increase. I'm at the height of my performance. Heroes never die. My duty is being done.
Jeez, bro. 6,000 healing, by the way.
Exercise is good for your joints.
Right by you.
Oh, Widowmaker.
I'm called It's a
And even before this guy hates playing Emre, and I just keep forcing him to play Emre.
Enemy board spawn. 60 seconds.
Let me fix you up.
How you wanted this to go, huh? Let's see how long I burn. Sunshine is strong.
I'm empowering you.
We're pushing now.
I have a Domino.
Life protects life ชีวิตปกป้องชีวิต
30 seconds.
I could use some assistance. Do step back.
Enemy turret ahead.
Heroes never die. Helden sterben nicht. Enemy turret ahead. Watch yourself. Sure, that doesn't stop.
No!
We have to stop the enemy team.
Defeat.
Okay.
Play of the game.
Wait, who's healing this guy right now? Oh, is that me? Yes, yes it is. It's me. Alright, that's probably a good warm-up. Not generally a Mercy player, but I would say I can play Mercy if I need to. Let's go. I'm still slowly reading through the Supreme Court decision for the tariffs. So I'm going to continue reading that while we're queuing. The current president's reading of IEPA follows from and is entirely consistent with those past interpretations, making his position nothing like, for example, FDA's when it changed its long-standing position that it lacked the authority to regulate cigarettes, or OSHA's when it implemented a vaccine requirement even though it had never before adopted a broad public health regulation of this kind, when, as here, established practice and the executive's track record convincingly showed that the general statutory language has long been understood to cover the specific power asserted by the executive. That record should all but resolve the matter for major questions purposes. Third, there is no mismatch. The power to tariff falls squarely within the president's wheelhouse. From the founding, as the Chief Justice's opinion today acknowledges, numerous other statutes have afforded, and still do afford, the president broad power to impose tariffs. This case is entirely different, therefore, from our prior major questions cases, where, for example, the CDC attempted to impose an eviction moratorium. OSHA sought to implement a nationwide vaccine mandate. The FDA tried to regulate cigarettes, and the Attorney General attempted to regulate physician-assisted suicide. Presidents imposing tariffs, whether pursuant to inherent wartime authority, pursuant to TWIA and IEPA's regulate importation language, pursuant to Section 232's adjust the imports text, or pursuant to the many other tariff statutory authorities, is hardly an unusual occurrence in our nation's history or in recent times. For example, Presidents George W. Bush, Obama, and Biden all imposed tariffs pursuant to congressional authorization. there is no mismatch between the tariff power and the president's mission and expertise. Fourth, the president is not relying on oblique, elliptical, or cryptic language. This case does not involve elephants in mouse holes. This case instead involves an elephant in a statutory elephant hole. AIPA was a major and thoroughly studied statute, carefully crafted to grant the president a suite of powerful tools, including to regulate importation, and thereby allow him to respond swiftly to national emergencies and to help America respond to crises. Since its enactment, presidents have invoked AIPA more than 70 times to deal with emergencies and threats, from the September 11, 2001 al-Qaeda attacks to Iran to North Korea and many others. And somehow in none of those cases did they ever impose tariffs following them. By 1977, moreover, it was well known that tariffs on foreign imports, along with even more powerful tools such as quotas and embargoes, were a common way to regulate importation. AIPA thus bears zero resemblance to the paradigmatic, previously little-used backwater statutory provision that cannot support significant executive actions. All of that makes this case dramatically different from, really, the opposite of the major questions cases where the court has ruled against the government. The text, the history, the context, and the precedent all point strongly to the conclusion that as of 1977, tariffs were a well-recognized means of regulating importation like quotas and embargoes. As Judge Taranto persuasively summarized, this case bears none of the hallmarks of past major questions cases, where the court found a lack of clear congressional authorization for the government's asserted major power. AIPA's facial breadth in an emergency context makes the straightforward application of the statute's words hardly unheralded, and if a more specific herald is needed, it is present in the Nixon 1971 proclamation, Yoshida CCPA, and subsequent congressional adoption of the relevant language in 1977. Oh.
Vote for your map.
Here we go. Well, I'll choose Rialto. You know what's funny? Since map voting, I think I've played Push one time, and I think I've played Flashpoint one time in competitive.
Select your hero. Select heroes to ban.
Both of these guys want to play Onron, and he's voting to ban Onron? And he's choosing Zen? Here, I'm just going to vote to ban Hanzo. Normally I would ban more, but these guys are being weird.
Welcome to Rialto.
Okay, he's choosing Ana. Winston, Imre, okay. Hanzo.
Amid discord, we will find tranquility.
I never asked my father his opinion of me. Now he is beyond my reach.
I'm sure he was proud, even if he never said it.
How would you know?
Trust me, I know.
So,
Gonna play way back there.
winning,
Okay.
I hope.
Hello there.
I usually like to play kind of around this column here as Zen. Kind of wish this wasn't raised up so I could use it better as cover for this, but
5, 4,
yeah, you eat this and then you move back to here, then you move back to the corner there. Usually you want to play up on this corner to start with. Okay, Wu Yang, Doom Fist. Okay. Okay, Doom Fist just like fell over. And we have Tracer as well. So I might want to consider Brigitte if we start getting run over. Oh, they're also rocking Imre. Okay. But Winston, I guess, is just taking care of business. Wu Yang is a character I kind of want to try, but he seems really difficult, to be honest. I like this guy's name, Lotion.
Here is an enemy. Careful. Harmony is within your grasp.
We're chilling. We're chilling. And now they have Zenyatta.
Minor perk unlocked.
That was my bad. Fuck. I fucked up. I should have immediately gone behind cover. That was my bad. I'm used to playing in ranks where people don't actually know how to aim, but when someone actually can aim, you get punished for that. Okay. I know that Imre is able to aim, so I'm gonna stand. Wait, Ana died.
Soldier 1, Soldier 31, Soldier 31, get in there, monkey. Oh, she got out.
Did I make a mistake there? Did I do something wrong in that sequence? I don't know if I fucked up or not. Like, other than just dying to Imre. Like, should I have used Transcendence at all during that? I think I really just need to play farther back.
Meteor strike. Hold out and we win.
Did they all fall back? I don't know if one of them stayed around here or not. I'm assuming they didn't.
Pass into the
Alright, I'm gonna trust Ana not to let us. I'm gonna go Moira to contest. I will swap to Brigitte.
Humanity is shackled. I will find the key. I offer something more.
I'll play this until I die, and then we're gonna go Brigitte. Moira is like fine, but
Over there. Keep an eye out. I needed that. Misery made manifest.
I pushed that pretty far.
Doom's 1, Doom's 1.
Enhancing your vitals.
Enemy in my sight. Long range takedown confirmed.
There's a test subject. Your end is within my reach.
I cannot reach you, Winton.
I slept the target.
Pain is inevitable.
Well, that was all on me.
Enemy in sight.
My horse watches over you.
Breaking me down just builds me
Over
up.
here.
Stop that payload!
We'll see if this is a bad decision or not. Uh-oh. Okay, well. I don't... Okay.
I'll try a different approach.
Is it just gonna... Is playing in Masters just, like, dive every game? Or are we just playing dive every single match?
Outcome will be bra.
Okay.
Complete. Score 0-1. Switching sides. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
I guess we'll stay on Brigitte as long as I don't see a reason for him to switch off of Doomfist. I mean, his name is Broomfist, so. And then, as long as Michael stays on Tracer.
Breaking me down just builds me up.
Not bad. We'll give it all we've got. And hope that's enough.
Stay sharp. It's harder to keep you alive when you're distracted. Yeah.
Stay close to me and I'll keep you safe.
Let's get this mission started.
I'm in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll cover you.
Escort the payload.
Trust in each other and we will fail.
Enemy in sight.
Special delivery.
Widowmaker? Oh! I got hit with a Helix. If I die one more time without us capping, I'll probably just go back to Zen, to be honest.
Nanoboost administered.
That was close.
Okay, maybe we can stick with Brigitte. Are they gonna contest? Surely they contest. Lamau? Huh? Okay.
To me!
Meteor strike.
Sending care your way.
He's in whatever that ability is called. Are they even gonna contest? They're okay. They didn't even contest. Nice, I guess. That was a weird game, to be honest. That was a game for sure. Yeah, yeah. It was one of the games. Expected. Well, sorry. Hmm. Very nice. Alright, well, let's hop back in. 6-minute queue, by the way. That's fine. We're okay with waiting. IEPA seeks to provide flexibility in the tools available to the President to address the unusual and extraordinary threats specified in a declared national emergency. This is not an ancillary, little-used backwater provision, or a delegation outside the recipient's wheelhouse. This court's recent decision in Biden v. Missouri strongly supports the President's position here. That case involved a challenge to President Biden's COVID-19 vaccine requirement for millions of healthcare workers. The executive action there, too, was undoubtedly major, but the court upheld the government's vaccine mandate based on a general statutory authorization for HHS to impose safety requirements for healthcare facilities, notwithstanding the lack of explicit statutory reference to vaccines. In doing so, the court emphasized that state vaccination requirements were common for healthcare workers and that the federal government regularly required healthcare workers to take various safety precautions. Notably, the court upheld the vaccine mandate even though the federal government had not traditionally imposed such vaccine requirements on healthcare workers. The clarity of the congressional authorization in today's case is far stronger than in Biden v. Missouri. The Nixon and Ford tariffs, the Algonquin decision, and the President's long-standing authority to regulate trade and impose tariffs establish much more comprehensively and clearly than in Biden v. Missouri that the President is not claiming some unheralded power that represents a transformative expansion of his authority. Because the court upheld the executive's exercise of a major power in Biden v. Missouri, it follows that the court today should likewise uphold the President's assertion of a major power here. Like cases should be treated alike. In response to all of that, the Chief Justice's opinion clings to its primary argument in this case, that a statute must use the word tariff or duty or tax or the like to authorize tariffs on foreign imports. But this court has repeatedly emphasized that the major questions doctrine is not a magic words requirement. The Chief Justice's opinion identifies no case that has demanded such specificity, and in Algonquin, this court unanimously and squarely rejected the same argument that the statutory provision must specifically mention tariffs or duties or taxes for the President to impose tariffs on foreign imports.
Select your hero.
Ball? Okay.
Choose hero bands. Welcome to Oasis.
Challenger score payout. Okay, I saw this yesterday. Is this guy a top 500 player? Is that what that is telling me? Is Kagra top 500? I don't know. I think they changed top 500 recently, so I don't know how it works.
Amid punishment, we will find prosperity. You spend your second chance at life walking a lonely road.
No one cares, monk.
Someone always cares. You must simply seek them out. I greet you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Oasis, I'll be honest, not much of a Zenyatta man. But it's okay.
Treasures are within your reach.
Vendetta has armor HP. Okay, okay. Winston and Vendetta. Okay, we're gonna play Brigitte. Yeah.
Let me help you with that.
Oh. Ow. Okay, well.
Okay, I'm ready to go again. I got you.
Alright, we want to go in? I can't. I'm not a frontline character. we? I feel like I'm doing so much right now. At least on that lap, I felt like I did so much. Guys, what? What? No, our Vendetta, what the fuck? Okay. Well, what the fuck?
Reverse the tide.
Enemy here.
I should push them off the point.
Alright, I guess I just need to start banning Vendetta. Not so that I don't have to play against Vendetta, so that I don't have a Vendetta on my team. My brother, you are getting dipped so hard. Okay. This is really stupid.
Humanity is shackled. I will find the key.
Minefield deployed.
Hey. Hi. Over here.
You really asked for my help.
I don't have time to figure out what to do with this perk. This one.
Best round one.
Fucking god, bro. Holy shit.
Score 1.
I guess I'm just staying on Moira, I guess. What the fuck, dude?
Hey.
Allow me to refill the oxygen.
Níl tin tán mar the tin tán féin.
Oasis find
What the fuck did Moira just say?
Hey.
Guess that.
Screw this up. I'll kill you myself. The memo says likewise.
Okay, I was like kind of feeding for like half of that round, and I have fewer deaths than Vendetta still.
Round 2. Capture the objective.
Behold the advantage, Margaret. Be nourished. Great minds are always persecuted.
This is the trouble playing with a wrecking ball, is like it's impossible to play with your tank. Okay, this reversal is actually a really good tool now that Man, this Winston is fucking honed in on only me. Which I mean, like, I am the support, but like, jeez. We're just getting ran down by this Winston, and I guess it's. I mean, if me getting killed by Winston over and over is resulting in Winston like throwing for the rest of the team, and he just like dies for it, then I guess it's fine. Reaper, I swear to God.
You cannot escape me.
Can you bomb me, Wuyong? Hit me, hit me, hit me. Wuyong, please, please.
It kind of worked out. It kind of worked out. Also, I don't know if I've played like a nighttime Oasis before. This might be a new time variant.
Surrender to my will. No. To
Dead is dead again.
receive my aid. What is it now? For the punch?
Retribution comes! Cascading!
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just getting run down by Winston. Like, what the fuck was this match? What the actual fuck happened? I guess Winston just deciding to run me down the whole game just allowed the rest of my team to just clean up? I don't even... What the fuck?
Wings won't save you from my blade.
I'm so confused. Okay. By the way, I don't know what these SRs mean, by the way. Like, does this mean I have, like, a Master's level Zenyatta SR, but, like, a Platinum level Brigitte SR? I don't really know what it means, but... Wait, also, Challenger score. I have a Challenger score of 65. Let me actually look. I want to see if I can figure out how this top 500 thing works. Oh. So I guess Challenger score is supposed to be more like to reward people who play more rather than you just get your high rank and then you just don't play to... Oh. I see, okay. Like, what? Oh, this guy's Grandmaster, I see. So there is no one who is What rank is this? I don't know what the name of this rank is. Go for support. Who's the highest guy who has Zenyatta in their top tier? Is a Brigitte player. Exode. Alright, the top Zen player is XX Gaming Graph. I see. Well, that's kind of cool. Mercy and Sojourn? Oh, Champion. That's the name of this rank, is Champion. Okay. Well, it's kind of interesting that I've played with / against people in top 500. I've not done that before. Alright. Let's keep rocking for a couple more games. Under the Chief Justice's opinion, the Nixon and Ford tariffs would also have been unlawful. So too might other tariffs imposed under the long-standing Section 232 tariff statute, which broadly authorizes the president to adjust the imports of a foreign good without mentioning tariffs or taxes, and so would tariffs imposed in wartime under TWIA's authority to regulate importation. Under the court's decision today, the president's authority to impose tariffs under TWIA during wartime is presumably now gone, given that TWIA has the same regulate importation language. Unless the court thinks that the statutory text somehow means one thing in TWIA and another in AIPA, which would be historically inaccurate and textually unsupportable. One might think that the court's opinion would also mean that tariffs cannot be imposed under Section 232, which authorizes the president to adjust the imports. After all, that statutory provision likewise does not refer to tariffs, duties, taxes, fees, or the like. But in Algonquin, the court read Section 232 to authorize tariffs. I assume that the court today does not intend to overrule Algonquin. The Chief Justice's opinion's approach to the major questions doctrine is a magic words test under another name, in contravention of our precedents that make clear that Congress need not use magic words or highly specific terms. In previous cases, the court has looked at the 4 factors to determine whether there is clear congressional authorization. Taken at face value, moreover, the court's major questions analysis would presumably also preclude presidents from imposing quotas under AIPA. Quotas are justified under the same regulate importation language. How could the court distinguish quotas from tariffs for major questions purposes? After all, quotas can be of even greater economic and political significance than tariffs. If magic words or the equivalent were necessary, that would be the only factor, and the court would not need the 4 factors that the court has consistently applied. In his concurrence, Justice Gorsuch opines that the phrase monetary exactions on foreign imports would constitute clear congressional authorization, but that the phrase regulate importation does not. But if the phrase regulate importation has historically and commonly encompassed monetary exactions on foreign imports, as it has, and if the 4 major questions factors taken together support the executive, as they do, then I cannot agree with the line that Justice Gorsuch is drawing between those 2 formulations. In sum, under the major questions doctrine as the court has applied it, this should be a straightforward case. Congress supplied clear authorization for the president to impose tariffs under AIPA. How many times does Kavanaugh need to repeat the same fucking 4 arguments over and over and over? Like, his opinion could be like 10 times shorter than it is.
Load for a map. Select your hero. Select hero bands.
Uh-oh, this guy also wants to play Zenyatta. Oh, we're on Hollywood. Nice. Oh yeah, we're gonna ban Vendetta just because I don't want my teammates to play Vendetta. This guy actually chooses Zen then. Fair play, I guess. I don't know why people ban Dominate, to be honest. She's not even, like, broken or anything.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Okay, he's choosing Juno.
Amid discord, we will find tranquility. Fruition comes from within, as does failure.
Terran speaks so many different languages. I have decided to learn them all.
I need healing.
I have no idea what is going on.
Harmony follows you.
What is going on?
Things. Look in the mirror.
I like your style.
I have no idea what is going on.
That
We
was
are in
sick.
harmony.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I have no idea what's going on. Uh-oh, it's an echo. And... oh, Ramatra? Ramatra's chill. Bastion? Oh, okay. Guess I just wasn't expecting that. For him to just ignore Reinhardt and sprint at me. But fair play, I guess.
A challenge presents itself.
Like me.
Allow me.
Let's increase our pace. Over there.
Minor path unlocked.
Experience tranquility. They face discord.
Wait, what the fuck? Who's he shooting at?
I am on fire. Thank you
Okay.
for assisting. Hyper ring out.
I feel like I made a lot of space there.
The payload.
The payload advances as it should.
Okay, Sigma. Sigma.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Signal.
Well, this Ramach is crazy.
Defeat is the better teacher.
Just can't stop once I get going.
Little known trivia. I got on the 300th day of filming.
An enemy appeared.
Fifth time's the charm.
Enemy over here.
I don't feel safe.
The payload is on its way.
Oh, that's Freya. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
This... I don't... What the hell is up with this Ramacha, bro? This guy... What is...
Experience tranquility.
Sigma, I swear to God. Alright, that, you know what? I'll give Tracer props there. Usually I'm pretty decent at predicting where the Tracer's gonna be. That guy did a good job at dodging, so fair play. Realizing I'm kind of on the side of this camera, but that's okay. Oh. Almost really bad for me. Are we okay? What is happening? Where are the enemies?
Do something!
Oh. Okay.
Payload must follow its course. Put it into motion.
Activating the barrier. Barrier unsuccessful. Enemy. What is that melody?
Helden sterben nicht.
A temporary setback.
60 seconds remaining.
Enemy accelerating. Welcome to orbit.
cycle begins anew.
Round 1 complete. Score 2-0. Switching sides. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
Descend. We will find tranquility.
We're playing by my rules.
We'll make it out alive. Maybe even in one piece.
Our mission awaits us.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming.
Okay.
The barrier's weakened.
They are signal. I don't know. Juno, Sigma, please.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
We must stop the payload.
True strength does not always lie in victory.
Das Universum singt vor mir!
Bro, what the f-
Don't mess with the best.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Get in there, Bob.
Bro, this guy is just like running off to go to the other side of the map all by himself.
Minor perk unlocked.
We're just gonna let Bob shoot us. Saved by Bob. Bro, I hate this.
Hunting them down. Bob, do something.
Defeat. Play of the game.
I literally used more ultimates than this guy. I literally had and used more ultimates than Sigma in that game. But, okay. Okay. How many games have we played? 3. Alright. We'll do another one. Second, there is an alternative and independent reason why the major questions doctrine does not apply here. This is a foreign affairs case. A plethora of statutes in the U.S. Code grant the executive the power to act in foreign affairs, and most of the important actions that presidents take today, including in foreign affairs, rest at least in part on statutory authorization. Yet this court has never before applied the major questions doctrine, or anything resembling it, to a foreign affairs statute. I would not make this case the first. Rather, in the foreign affairs context, this court has interpreted statutes as written, with respect for the primacy of Congress's and the President's roles in foreign affairs, and without using the major questions doctrine as a thumb on the scale against the President. That deeply rooted textualist approach to interpreting foreign affairs statutes is nothing new. What is new, and rather extraordinary, is the approach embodied in the Chief Justice's opinion for 3 justices, which would extend the major questions doctrine into the foreign affairs realm for the first time. Recall that the major questions doctrine is based on two overlapping foundations: separation of powers, principles, and a practical understanding of legislative intent. With respect to separation of powers, the major questions doctrine serves to reinforce the non-delegation doctrine, but in the foreign affairs realm, the court has recognized that Congress often broadly delegates authority to the executive. From the founding, numerous foreign affairs statutes authorizing action by the president in respect of subjects affecting foreign relations either leave the exercise of the power to his unrestricted judgment or provide a standard far more general than that which has always been considered requisite with regard to domestic affairs.
Choose your map.
At Gibraltar,
Select your hero. Select heroes to ban.
Diva.
Arriving at watch point.
Who tried to ban Zarya?
Not me. I did not ban Zarya. I went for a Hazard.
Amid discord, we will find tranquility.
Vivian Chase, your Overwatch record was spotless, and your retirement was just as quiet, right?
It was. And I plan to keep it that way.
The eye will not fail. The hand will not flinch.
You count on me, I count on you.
Wow, this cat is annoying.
Hello. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Alright.
1.
Fucking.
Commencing.
What is this somber skin, bro?
Escort the payload.
I am accompanying the payload.
Engage this enemy.
Every fucking game, every game is dive! Why is every game? Can I ever just like play Zenyatta? Why does it always have to be bullshit?
Get to the payload!
Are we? Are we not? This is 100% our last game. This is fucking so stupid.
No one can hide from my sight.
Moving the payload.
Suppress this target. Hostile here.
I forgot the #1 rule of Overwatch. Never do anything. If you make a play, you will be punished. Okay, I just exploded.
What happened to my team?
I don't know. 3 of the people on our team just are content to just not do anything, just sit around.
I don't mean
Okay.
I'll find my own path.
This is going very well.
Bonjour. Enemy in my sights. Under my protection here. Hostile here. 30 seconds.
That used to be a mega.
No one can hide from my sight. Suppress this target. Hostile here. Fire at will. What's that? That's Fox power. 10 seconds. Suppress this target. Restoring balance. I'm with you. Protecting. Group up here. Let's get back to it. Round 1 complete.
All right.
Score 0-0. Switching sides. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
Yo, team, what's wrong here? What can we do to fix it?
Another day, another battlefield.
The best archaeologists get their noses out of books and into the dirt.
Alright, the other thing, right? We're banning Vendetta every game, and we're also now banning Jetpack Cat every game. Once again, not because it's something wrong with playing against Jetpack Cat, it's like, no. Because I don't want to have Jetpack Cat on my team. That's why.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Barrier initialized.
Stop the payload.
Much to do.
Barrier is nearly spent. Barrier is gone. I've got you. Suppress this target. Stay alive for me.
I don't even have time to react. There's no time to even react to what's happening to me. I genuinely have no idea what what anyone like what.
So bad, bro.
I'm better than you.
But you're playing on the other side of shield when I'm the only support. Like, how do you expect to get healed?
I'm better than you, Diamond. Shut up.
Bro, I smurf your peak. This ain't my main.
I smurf my peak. I smurf my peak.
Like, put the best player in the world in my position. What do they do?
Barrier has been overwhelmed.
I don't know. It looks like a cat diff, if I had to say.
At least he's not blaming me.
Cat diff when I have way more healing than them.
And a Reddit accent.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I think we get you. But there's just a cat on me. Yo. He's one. The cat's low.
Hostile here. It's not over till it's over.
Monkey can die. Monkey can die.
Got the victory fever.
Plotting out the dig site.
Okay. Well, we're done playing that right now.
Play of the game.
Okay. We are done playing Overwatch for today.
The calculation should have been correct.
I'll get in the pool when I am good and ready.
Ooh, this is really cool. I like this skin. That's cool. White Malga.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I don't know if I vibe with that delivery, but okay. Rock this one. Get me out of here, dude. Let's now play some RimWorld. Start indoor growing. Okay. We have the lamp. Okay. We got the heaters. Let's designate power. Perfect. For now let's just plant rice. There we go. So, suspend this and don't use any vegetarian products in the meals so we can feed the animals. Go. The reason for those broad delegations is simple and obvious. If success for America's foreign affairs aims is to be achieved, congressional legislation must often accord to the President a degree of discretion and freedom from statutory restriction which would not be admissible were domestic affairs alone involved. Stated otherwise, Congress, in giving the executive authority over matters of foreign affairs, must of necessity paint with a brush broader than that it customarily wields in domestic areas. As Justice Robert Jackson summarized, the Court's non-delegation cases, consistent with the unbroken legislative practice which has prevailed almost from the inception of the national government, have recognized internal and external affairs as being in separate categories and held that the strict limitation upon congressional delegations of power to the President over internal affairs does not apply with respect to delegations of power in external affairs. As Justice Jackson further noted, the Court's precedents recognize the unwisdom of requiring Congress in this field of governmental power to lay down narrowly definite standards by which the President is to be grounded. If the major questions doctrine is designed in part to protect non-delegation principles, but the non-delegation doctrine does not play a substantial role in foreign affairs cases, then it follows that courts should not employ the major questions doctrine to put a thumb on the scale against the President when interpreting foreign affairs statutes. Rather, as Justice Robert Jackson stated, courts should interpret those statutes as written. This is a really stupid argument, for the record. This is just a really dumb argument. Relatedly, to the extent that the major questions doctrine is designed to reflect a practical understanding of a legislative intent, the doctrine appropriately plays no role in national security or foreign policy contexts. What? We're social fighting? Scab Damp directly insulted Becca's facial hair. This drove Becca into a rage and he began a fight. Because the canon does not reflect ordinary congressional intent in those areas. In the foreign affairs realm, Congress has good reason to, and intends to, authorize many executive branch actions related to foreign affairs in broad or general terms. Congress ordinarily seeks to give the President substantial authority and flexibility to protect America and the American people. After all, the President exercises the vast share of responsibility for the conduct of our foreign relations. So Congress often gives the President a degree of discretion. That unbroken legislative practice from the founding means that courts interpreting statutes in the foreign affairs field should assume that Congress meant what it said. Stated otherwise, if the major questions doctrine turns on a contextual inquiry into likely congressional intent, it is likely for a variety of reasons to have less purchase in the foreign affairs area. To be clear, Congress of course maintains the ultimate power over how broadly, or narrowly, to write statutes in the foreign policy and national security contexts. For example, Congress can write foreign affairs statutes narrowly. Indeed, even for wartime powers, Congress rarely gives the President a blank check. And when Congress writes a narrow foreign affairs statute, this court has enforced those statutory limits as written. Moreover, when it does legislate more broadly, Congress sometimes claws back the statutory authorization by rescinding or amending overbroad statutes, or by restricting previously granted presidential power through the leverage it possesses over appropriations, new legislation, or confirmations. Either House of Congress alone, through the appropriations process, can insist on certain limits as a condition of approving funding. At the end of the day, given the appropriations power, Congress holds the cards. In short, in the foreign affairs context, this court has never before superimposed the major questions doctrine onto ordinary statutory interpretation to place a thumb on the scale against the president. Rather, the court interprets the relevant statutes according to their text with respect for Congress's and the president's central roles in the foreign policy and national security fields. I think I'm almost done with this. This tariffs case plainly falls into the foreign affairs category. It doesn't. IEEPA directly and expressly relates to foreign affairs, and like quotas and embargoes, tariffs regulate the goods that are imported into the country from foreign nations. The tariffs do not apply to goods produced in America. Yeah, but you're putting a tax on Americans for purchasing something that's foreign. Moreover, tariffs on foreign imports are significant tools of foreign policy and national security, whether imposed under IEEPA, TWIA, Section 232, Section 122, Section 201, Section 301, or Section 338. They're often used to advance foreign policy goals or as negotiating leverage in trade negotiations. Like other economic tools, tariffs can serve as a bargaining chip to be used by the president when dealing with a hostile country, or to incentivize a change in behavior by allies, partners, or enemies. With respect to foreign trade specifically, Congress often invests the president with large discretion in matters arising out of the execution of statutes relating to trade and commerce with other nations. Since the founding, that long-standing practice has included tariff statutes. The nice thing about living in a cold biome is that I don't have to worry very much about the toxic waste packs. Congress has granted the president expansive power over tariffs and foreign trade, and this court has uniformly rejected challenges to tariffs imposed by presidents under those statutory authorities. A group from Itfararistia are visiting the colony. They have some items to trade. Okay. As Professors Bradley and Goldsmith well summarized, there's a settled practice of about a century of the executive branch exercising emergency powers in many important contexts pursuant to the broadly worded AIPA and its predecessor, the Trading with the Enemy Act. And there is an even longer practice dating to the founding of presidents exercising trade-related sanctions authority pursuant to broadly worded statutes. Notably, the court has already suggested, in both of these contexts, that one should expect Congress to, in effect, paint with a broad brush. As with tariffs on foreign imports historically, the AIPA tariffs on foreign imports at issue, in this case, implicate foreign affairs. According to the government, the president has leveraged the AIPA tariffs, into trade deals with major trading partners, including China, the United Kingdom, and Japan, among other countries. The government says that the tariffs have helped make certain foreign markets more accessible to American businesses and have contributed to trade deals with foreign nations worth trillions of dollars. Kavanaugh, dude, what? You can't be this stupid. Is Kavanaugh really this dumb? Earlier in what we just read, Justice Kavanaugh right? Okay, listen. Kavanaugh explicitly says right here, right? And like quotas and embargoes, tariffs regulate the goods that are imported into the country from foreign nations. The tariffs do not apply to goods produced in America. So, yeah, that is accurate. That's correct. Right? The point of that being, the goal of doing that is to incentivize people to produce stuff locally. That's the point of the tariff. That's the entire reason that you would impose it. But Kavanaugh says this. Yeah, the tariffs don't apply to local goods, only to the foreign ones. And then he goes on to say, the tariffs have helped make certain foreign markets more accessible to American businesses. How? It's literally the opposite. Moreover, consistent with history and the traditional uses of tariffs, the president is exercising his AIPA authority in connection with the highly sensitive negotiations he is conducting to end the conflict between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. What? Fuck. Now you're arguing that the tariffs are actually ending the Russia-Ukraine war? I feel like Kavanaugh... Why is my... Why is Kavanaugh actually this dumb? So, what? There we go. To that end, on August 6, 2025, the president imposed tariffs on India for directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil. And on February 6, 2026, the president reduced the tariffs on India because, according to the government, India had committed to stop directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil. Is Kavanaugh literally giving the tariffs are a negotiating tactic argument? Is that really what he's doing right now? To be sure, most foreign affairs and national security actions, whether war, international agreements, trade deals, or tariffs, lead to significant domestic ramifications within the United States. And this case is no exception. Nonetheless, in the foreign affairs field, courts interpret statutes as written with appropriate respect to Congress and the President, and without a major questions doctrine weight on the scale against the President. Lest there be any remaining doubt that the major questions doctrine does not apply to tariffs on foreign imports, recall again this court's decision in Algonquin. That case involved significant tariffs imposed by President Ford on oil imports. The relevant statute granted the president the authority to adjust the imports. The court upheld the tariffs by interpreting the statute as written. Neither the Major Questions Doctrine nor anything resembling that doctrine played a role in that case. In short, presidential actions, pursuant to broad congressional authorizations related to foreign affairs, often have long historical pedigrees that can, in various ways, inform congressional intent to approve the actions in question. To the extent that this is so in particular instances, the Major Questions Doctrine's clear authorization requirement does not apply. So it is here. Presidents have long been granted substantial discretion over tariffs. This court has never before applied the Major Questions Doctrine to a statute authorizing the president to take action with respect to foreign affairs in general or tariffs in particular, and it should not do so today. The Chief Justice's opinion's reliance on the Major Questions Doctrine in this foreign affairs case is a first, a novel and unprecedented use of the Major Questions Doctrine to invalidate presidential action taken pursuant to congressional authorization in the foreign affairs area. I firmly disagree with that use of the Major Questions Doctrine here. In the foreign affairs context, including tariffs, the long-standing rule is simple. Interpret the statute as written, not with a thumb on the scale against the president. In his thoughtful concurrence, Justice Gorsuch agrees that the Major Questions Doctrine often does not apply to foreign affairs statutes, but in his view, it does not apply only when the president also has inherent or independent Article II power. The Chief Justice's opinion for 3 justices also gestures at that position. I see some analytical and practical problems with that approach. First, as Justice Gorsuch elsewhere notes, the Major Questions Doctrine serves in part to reinforce non-delegation principles. Yet, as I have explained, the court's non-delegation cases from the founding to the present, including numerous cases involving tariffs, have recognized internal and external affairs as being in separate categories, and held to the strict limitation upon congressional delegations of power to the president over internal affairs does not apply with respect to delegations of power in external affairs. In those cases, the court has not further subdivided the foreign affairs power in the manner that Justice Gorsuch now suggests. Second, terms such as inherent or independent in this context continue to be used often interchangeably and without fixed or ascertainable meanings. So it would be both novel and jurisprudentially chaotic to try to now create a new approach tying the applicability of the Major Questions canon in the foreign affairs context to such uncertain triggers. Related precedent further demonstrates that the Major Questions Doctrine has not traditionally applied in the national security or foreign policy contexts. Consider 2 prominent examples. First, in Hamdi v. Rumsfeld, this court considered the 2001 Authorization for Use of Military Force, which Congress passed and President George W. Bush signed on September 18, 2001, in the wake of the al-Qaeda attacks on the United States. The law broadly empowered the president to use all necessary and appropriate force against those nations, organizations, or persons he determines planned, authorized, committed, or aided the terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001. In Hamdi, the government militarily detained in the United States an American citizen who had taken up arms with the Taliban. The plaintiff Hamdi argued, among other things, that the AUMF generally authorized the use of force, but did not specifically authorize military detention, at least detention of American citizen enemy combatants in the United States. He contended that his military detention was therefore illegal. In the principal opinion by Justice O'Connor, the court rejected Hamdi's statutory argument, explaining that it was of no moment that the AUMF does not use specific language of detention, rather because detention to prevent a combatant's return to the battlefield is a fundamental incident of waging war, and permitting the use of necessary and appropriate force. Congress has clearly and unmistakably authorized detention in the narrow circumstances considered here. You'll have no components, but that's okay. Consider the similarities between Hamdi and this case. Both involve major questions of foreign affairs. Hamdi involved U.S. military detention of an American citizen. In America, pursuant to a generally worded authorization for use of military force. This case involves tariffs on foreign goods imported into America, pursuant to a generally worded authorization to regulate importation. Detention is a traditional incident of the President's delegated power to wage war. Tariffs are a traditional incident of the President's delegated power to regulate imports and foreign commerce. In Hamdi, the court said that as a matter of history, practice, and precedent, the AUMF's general authorization for the use of military force clearly encompassed detention of enemy combatants. Here, as a matter of history, practice, and precedent, AIPA's general authorization for regulation of importation likewise clearly encompasses tariffs on foreign imports. Second, in 1981, in Dames and Moore, the court did not apply the major questions doctrine, even though the court had recently applied that principle in a significant domestic policy case. The Dames and Moore case arose in the wake of the Iran hostage crisis, where Iran held more than 50 American hostages at the U.S. Embassy in Iran for more than 14 months. As one part of the ultimate settlement of the hostage crisis with Iran, President Reagan suspended claims by U.S. nationals against Iran that were pending in American courts. The President did so under AIPA and the Hostage Act. There can be little doubt that the question of suspending American citizens' claims against Iran was one of major economic and political significance, and the court further recognized that the case touched fundamentally upon the manner in which our republic is to be governed. I'm getting bad congestion and a headache coming on. Yet the court did not require clear congressional authorization for the President's exercise of that authority to suspend the Americans' claims against Iran. On the contrary, the court openly acknowledged that the relevant statutes, AIPA and the Hostage Act, did not provide clear or specific authorization for the President to suspend those claims. The court nonetheless concluded that the general tenor of Congress legislation in this area combined with Congress's long-standing acquiescence to the president's practice of settling claims, supported the president's suspension of those claims. Congress's general tenor and acquiescence are of course far less than the clear congressional authorization that the Chief Justice's opinion today newly demands for the president's tariffs. Again, consider the similarities between Dames and Moore in this case. Dames and Moore involved complicated questions of foreign policy and national security. The statutes in Dames and Moore were generally worded and did not specifically authorize the suspension of claims, but presidents have historically exercised a similar power. Here we likewise have a generally worded statutory authorization to regulate importation. And presidents have historically imposed tariffs. If AIPA permitted the president to lawfully suspend claims in Dames and Moore, despite the court's transparent acknowledgement that the actual statutory text did not clearly authorize Ooh. Okay. If AIPA permitted the president to lawfully suspend claims in Dames and Moore, despite the court's transparent acknowledgement that the actual statutory text did not clearly authorize the president's actions, then surely AIPA's authorization to regulate importation easily justifies these tariffs. The Chief Justice's opinion would chart a new course for the major questions doctrine, extending it for the first time deep into the foreign affairs sphere. If the court had applied the major questions doctrine in Hamdi and Dames and Moore, those two landmark cases almost certainly would have been decided differently. So today's opinion marks a significant change. Will the court apply the major questions doctrine in the foreign affairs context again in the future? Or is this a ticket good for one day and one train only? Time will tell. But in the meantime, the decision could engender significant uncertainty over the executive's exercise of statutory authority in the foreign affairs realm. As the Hamdi and Dames and Moore examples demonstrate, applying the major questions doctrine in the foreign policy and national security contexts in the past would have seriously hindered the president's ability to exercise power granted by Congress to achieve important foreign policy and national security objectives for America. And if applied in the foreign affairs context in the future, it could impair president's vital statutory authorities with respect to foreign policy and national security. What is the status going forward of the major questions doctrine in foreign affairs cases? Only 3 justices at most today suggest that the major questions doctrine should apply in the foreign affairs context. The Chief Justice, Justice Gorsuch, and Justice Barrett. I doubt that the major questions doctrine analysis in the Chief Justice's opinion for those 3 justices is controlling for future cases as a matter of precedent under the Marx rule. That is because 3 justices, Justice Sotomayor, Justice Kagan, and Justice Jackson, do not recognize the major questions doctrine at all. And this dissent would not apply it in the foreign affairs context. So it appears that 6 justices would not apply it in the foreign affairs context. In my view, the question of whether or how the major questions doctrine applies in foreign affairs cases remains at least an open question. Having said all of that on foreign affairs, I reiterate that the major questions doctrine, even if it applies in this foreign affairs context, does not defeat major executive actions that are clearly authorized by Congress. And as explained in Part 3A above, in IEEPA, Congress clearly authorized the President to impose tariffs to regulate importation in national emergencies. In other words, even if the major questions doctrine applies in the foreign affairs context, exactly as it does in domestic affairs, the President should still prevail in this case. Finally, no member of the court today relies on the non-delegation doctrine, but the plaintiffs briefly raised such an argument, and I will therefore briefly address it. The argument is unavailing for many of the reasons already noted in the major questions analysis above. This court has repeatedly rejected constitutional challenges to congressional delegations to the President in the foreign affairs area, including delegations of tariff authority. For matters of foreign affairs and national security, the court has traditionally recognized that Congress must of necessity paint with a brush broader than that it customarily wields in domestic areas. And to reiterate, numerous statutes authorizing action by the President in respect of subjects affecting foreign relations either leave the exercise of the power to his unrestricted judgment or provide a standard far more general than that which has always been considered requisite with regard to domestic affairs. Therefore, as Justice Thomas has explained, the court's precedents establish that the Constitution grants the President a greater measure of discretion in the realm of foreign relations. Justice Robert Jackson likewise noted the unwisdom of requiring Congress in this field of governmental power to lay down narrowly definite standards by which the President is to be governed. As such, the strict limitation upon congressional delegations of power to the President over internal affairs does not apply with respect to delegations of power in external affairs. Okay, steel is nice, but I need components. I need compact machinery. Alright, we're about halfway through winter. Because statutes that involve the external relations of the United States do not trigger the same kind of delegation concerns as purely domestic ones, the court has regularly upheld delegations of power to the President in the national security and foreign policy realms. Indeed, if a strict non-delegation doctrine applied in those areas, numerous statutes, including many authorizations for use of military force in the nation's history, would have been unconstitutional delegations of authority to the President. As to tariffs in particular, broad delegations of tariff authority Broad delegations of tariff authority to the President have been in the heartland of permissible delegations upheld by this court. Congress may, without running afoul of the Constitution, invest the President with large discretion in matters arising out of the execution of statutes relating to trade and commerce with other nations. Congressional delegations of tariffs and other foreign trade authorities to the President date back to near the founding, and this court has uniformly rejected non-delegation challenges to statutes delegating that authority to the President. This court's decision in Algonquin is again instructive. There, the court held that Section 232 did not constitute an unconstitutional delegation. The court found it sufficient that the President could act only to the extent he deems necessary to adjust the imports of an article such that it will not threaten or to impair the national security. To be clear, I am not suggesting that there is no non-delegation doctrine in the foreign affairs realm, but the court has consistently recognized that the doctrine affords more flexibility to Congress and the President in that area to deal with the complex foreign relations issues and national security threats facing America. In all events, for purposes of this court's non-delegation precedents, IEPA sufficiently constrains the President's authority to declare an emergency and impose tariffs. The President may exercise the authorities in IEPA only to deal with an unusual and extraordinary threat that has its source in whole or substantial part outside the United States, and with respect to which a national emergency has been declared. Congress placed numerous limits on IEPA, including a default one-year time limit, an enumerated list of exceptions, and comprehensive congressional reporting requirements. It is also useful to underscore the extraordinary nature of the plaintiff's non-delegation argument here. The plaintiff's submission would mean that these tariffs would be unlawful even if IEPA explicitly authorized tariffs. Unlike their statutory and major questions doctrine arguments, their non-delegation argument is not based on a lack of an explicit reference to tariffs or duties or the like. Their non-delegation argument instead goes much farther and would require very specific congressional directions to the President on when and under what circumstances he could impose tariffs and how high those tariffs could be. The plaintiff's theory would have dramatic consequences and likely wipe out many of the existing tariff statutes that have long been upheld by this court, as well as TWIA. And if the tariff authority here is unlawful, so too are most, if not all, IEPA authorities, such as asset freezes, embargoes, and quotas. And it would not stop there. The plaintiff's non-delegation theory would threaten various other national security and foreign affairs statutes that similarly grant substantial discretion to the President. The court today thankfully does not go down that road. Some last points for completeness. The plaintiffs also raise two other arguments that the court today does not address or rely on. First, they argue that Section 122, a non-emergency tariff statute that addresses trade deficits, implicitly displaces IEPA's tariff authority. Second, they argue that the tariffs here do not deal with an unusual and extraordinary threat, as to which a national emergency has been declared. In my view, those arguments are insubstantial, as Judge Taranto previously explained in the Federal Circuit. Because the court today does not address or rely on them, I will not discuss them further here. Finally, I agree with footnote 1 of the court's opinion regarding jurisdiction. The overarching theme of the court's opinion is that tariffs are not a clear means to regulate importation. Fuck. This congestion is awful. We're going to take the Benadryl. What is this guy wearing? Oh. Oh. Don't wear that. Also, you don't wear that. And that Congress was therefore required to use the word tariff, duty, or the like in IEPA in 1977 if it wanted to authorize tariffs on foreign imports. That conclusion contravenes text, history, and precedent. To summarize, Algonquin in 1976 unanimously held the opposite. The Nixon and Ford tariffs were based on statutory provisions that did not use the word tariff or duty. There was a long tradition of presidents imposing tariffs as a means of regulating importation and commerce. The predecessor Trading with the Enemy Act has long been understood to authorize tariffs during wartime as a means to regulate importation, even though it does not use the word tariff or duty. The history of the Polk, Lincoln, and McKinley tariffs shows that tariffs are a means of regulating importation. Marshall, Story, and Madison stated that tariffs are a means of regulating foreign commerce. The dictionary definitions and ordinary usage establish that tariffs are a means of regulating importation. All of that, and much more in my view, overwhelmingly establish that IEPA clearly authorizes the president to impose tariffs. That said, with respect to tariffs in particular, the court's decision might not prevent presidents from imposing most, if not all, of these same sorts of tariffs under other statutory authorities. For example, Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974 permits the president to impose a temporary import surcharge to deal with large and serious United States balance of payments deficits. Section 201 of the Trade Act of 1974 provides that if the International Trade Commission determines an article is being imported in such quantities that it is a substantial cause of serious injury, or the threat thereof, to the domestic industry producing an article like or directly competitive with the imported article, the President may take appropriate and feasible action, including imposing a duty. Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974 authorizes the President through a subordinate officer to impose duties if he determines that an act, policy, or practice of a foreign country is unjustifiable and burdens or restricts United States commerce. Section 338 of the Tariff Act of 1930 permits the President to impose tariffs when he finds that any foreign country places any burden or disadvantage upon the commerce of the United States. And Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 authorizes the President to, after receiving a report from the Secretary of Commerce, adjust the imports of an article and its derivatives so that such imports will not threaten to impair the national security. So, the court's decision is not likely to greatly restrict presidential tariff authority going forward, but the court's decision is likely to generate other serious practical consequences in the near term. One issue will be refunds. Refunds of billions of dollars would have significant consequences for the U.S. Treasury. The court says nothing today about whether, and if so how, the government should go about returning the billions of dollars that it has collected from importers. But that process is likely to be a mess, as was acknowledged at oral argumentation. A second issue is the decision's effect on the current trade deals, because IEPA tariffs have helped facilitate trade deals worth trillions of dollars, including with foreign nations from China to the United Kingdom to Japan. The court's decision could generate uncertainty regarding various trade agreements. That process too could be difficult. That argument is funny because it's like, yeah, fucking obviously, if you do something like if you didn't want there to be uncertainty, don't do the illegal thing in the first place, and don't base your future shit on the illegal thing. It's like, wow, we used the illegal tariffs to form trade deals, but now you're saying I can't do that because it's illegal. Aren't you generating uncertainty by doing that? I should continue to be allowed to do something illegal because I built other stuff on top of it. It's like, what? No. The tariffs at issue here may or may not be wise policy, but as a matter of text, history, and precedent, they are clearly lawful. I respectfully dissent. Finally, holy shit. Kavanaugh's was such a waste of time. Well, why does the game keep pausing when I alt-tab? Frostbite? Oh, okay. I did not realize that, that chickens could die to the cold, but alright. Yep, I guess all my chickens are dead. I wasn't fast enough. Did not realize that chickens would just like instantly die to frostbite once it hits negative 20 degrees. Okay. My bad, I guess. Hmm. Trying to think of what we should do next here. And I feel like the big thing is just kind of waiting out the. Well, one, we need components, and two, just wait out winter. You know? I'm gonna leave the pin open still for now. Only so much I can do. According to a release from the UK's Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, the UK has withdrawn its embassy staff from Iran, citing security risks, as US-Iran talks continue to merit little success, and the US force posture in CENTCOM area of responsibility continues to increase. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to visit Israel on Monday and Tuesday to coordinate with Israel on the administration's 20-point Gaza peace plan, Iran, and other regional issues. While on Air Force One, U.S. President Donald Trump said that there will be additional U.S.-Iran talks today, but emphasized his unhappiness with the nature of the Iranian negotiations framework, saying he doesn't like how they negotiate. In addition to his remarks on Iran, President Donald Trump criticized Cuba's government, characterizing Cuba as a failing nation. The USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. conducted a live-fire exercise in the Arabian Sea, using its Mark 38 25mm chain gun in the exercise. Correction, President Trump made these comments to press outside of the White House before departing to Andrews Air Force Base to leave for his planned trip to Texas. U.S. President Donald Trump gave a Marine a presidential challenge coin while getting off of Marine One to board Air Force One for his flight to Texas. In an interesting statement to press outside of the White House earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump said that a friendly takeover of Cuba is a possibility. The U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. has filed a complaint seeking the forfeiture of the motor tanker Skipper and its 1.8 million barrel cargo of Venezuelan crude oil that was boarded and seized on December 10th in the southern Caribbean Sea for violating sanctions by U.S. Marines and Coast Guard personnel. President Donald Trump has posted to Truth Social, directing that all federal agencies immediately cease all use of Anthropic's technology. And goes on to say there will be a 6-month phase-out period for agencies like the Department of Defense. In a release, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has designated Iran as a state sponsor of wrongful detention. Okay. I'm closing this. Archon Isidoros Kalothes of the Exodus Imperium is requesting that you build a monument to spread images of his martial honor across the land. Pleasant Poker. Okay. We can probably take that later. Oh, I understand why everyone's constantly walking over here. Well, I need hay to be able to put hay flooring in there. Ugh. This has been very slow. There's not been any raids. We got one quest and we haven't completed any quests. We haven't even completed any research either. All we've done is grow some rice and have a bunch of chickens die. And run out of food. What do I need the most of right now? Oh, I forgot this is a super guy. Like we have good social. We could use someone who's really strong with animals. I think being good with animals is our priority right now. Okay, so you convert. Actually, let's convert all of them. Then Lissa and Simon we will release after we convert them. But Nelson we will attempt to recruit. Okay. I think I'm gonna end it here. I cannot put question mark. Oh, okay. We had a couple good games in Overwatch earlier, and then we ended with like 2 really bad games, so that kind of sucked. And then RimWorld, not great. I mean, we did plant the rice, and the rice is growing, and we have the power for it, which is good. But we didn't really make that much progress, and a bunch of our animals died, so that's not great. And still no components, and no way to get components. So that's lovely. Lovely, amazing. You love to see it. Great, awesome. Okay, so I think I will probably be streaming tomorrow. I think it will be a grocery day, so it'll be a little bit shorter. But we'll see. And yeah, if you came out during the stream to watch, even for a little bit, I do appreciate it. Thank you. And I will see you on the next one.